Imagine a place known for its icy landscapes, a place of stark beauty, and suddenly, a powerful nation decides to plant its flag with a new consulate. Sounds like business as usual, right? Wrong. What if, instead of a warm welcome, they were met with chants of "go home"? Before we dive into this geopolitical frostbite, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in US politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow. That's exactly what happened in Greenland this week. Hundreds of its residents took to the streets, not to celebrate the opening of the United States consulate, but to protest it. We're talking about people waving their own Greenlandic flags, holding up signs that explicitly read USAASU, which translates to Stop USA. The message was undeniable: Greenland belongs to Greenlanders. This wasn't a quiet murmur of discontent, it was a loud, clear chorus of rejection. This event, reported by The Guardian, points to a simmering resentment that many might not have anticipated. Greenland, while part of the Kingdom of Denmark, has a significant degree of autonomy. Its people are fiercely protective of their identity and their land, especially in the face of increasing global interest in the Arctic. The opening of a U.S. consulate, a symbol of diplomatic and economic engagement, was clearly perceived by many Greenlanders not as an invitation for cooperation, but as an encroachment. So, what's behind this visceral reaction? Why the go-home sentiment? It's crucial to understand the context. The Arctic is becoming a new frontier for geopolitical competition. As climate change opens up shipping routes and access to resources, major powers, including the United States, are understandably looking to increase their presence and influence in the region. The U.S. has a strategic interest in the Arctic, both militarily and economically, and establishing consulates is a way to solidify that presence. However, for the people of Greenland, this is their home. They are on the front lines of climate change, experiencing its effects directly. Their concerns are often focused on environmental protection, sustainable development, and preserving their unique culture. When a foreign power appears to be prioritizing its own strategic interests, it can feel like their voices and their needs are being sidelined. The USAASU signs are not just a slogan, they represent a deeply held belief in self-determination. It's a rejection of what some Greenlanders perceive as a neo-colonial approach, where powerful nations make decisions that affect smaller populations without adequate consultation or consideration for local wishes. The feeling isn't necessarily anti-American in a personal sense, but rather a strong assertion of national identity and a demand to be masters of their own domain. This protest has several significant implications. Firstly, it highlights the complexities of international relations in a region of growing strategic importance. It shows that even with formal diplomatic channels, public sentiment on the ground can be a powerful force. The U.S. will need to navigate these local concerns carefully if it hopes to build genuine partnerships in Greenland. Secondly, it raises questions about Denmark's role. As the sovereign power over Greenland, how will Copenhagen respond to its autonomous territory's clear display of dissent? Will they support the Greenlandic people's wishes, potentially straining relations with the U.S., or will they prioritize their alliance with Washington? This puts Denmark in a delicate balancing act. Thirdly, for the U.S., this is a clear signal that its Arctic ambitions need to be tempered with sensitivity to local populations. Simply opening an office isn't enough, genuine engagement and respect for Greenlandic sovereignty will be paramount. Failure to do so could lead to continued friction and damage the U.S.'s reputation in the region. The potential outcomes are varied. The U.S. could try to engage more directly with Greenlandic leaders and communities, seeking to address their concerns and build trust. This might involve greater transparency about their Arctic strategies and a commitment to environmental stewardship. On the other hand, if the U.S. presses ahead with its agenda without adequately addressing the local sentiment, it could lead to further protests, strained diplomatic relations, and a perception of the U.S. as an unwelcome interloper. This could also embolden other Arctic nations to be more assertive in their own territorial claims and interests. So, what do you think about this? Is this a sign of growing anti-American sentiment in the Arctic, or a legitimate assertion of sovereignty by the people of Greenland? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one. The message from Greenland is loud and clear. As the United States seeks to expand its influence in the Arctic, it must understand that sovereignty and self-determination are not just abstract concepts, they are lived realities for the people who call this vital region home. The Go Home chants are a stark reminder that international power plays must always reckon with the will of the people on the ground.